When looking at hand knit cable symbols, you have, and they're all going to look different, so basically just look at the pattern. But for instance, here's one that's a front cross cable and then the back cross cable. Now, what happens is on the front cross, the two stitches here are going to be in front and they're leaning to the left. The back one is leaning to the right. Now, when you're working on the machine, you're looking at the back side of the material. So what you need to do is reverse this. So this will be the front cross and that would be the back cross. And here is another chart. Now, you see this symbol is a little different, but when you look down here, and it may be hard to see it, but it does say to hold in front. So this would be a front cross cable. Now, I don't like doing 3x3 cables on the machine. It really puts a lot of stress on the needles. So I would do a 2x2 on this case. So now, again, this one here would be leaning to the left. You look at that little part there on which way those stitches would be leaning. If it was up, cross down, and below, then they would be leaning to the right. Again, you need to reverse this for doing on the machine. But if the cables are all slanting the same way, it really doesn't matter. You just need to know what stitches are going to be transferred over to create that cable. Now here is a braided cable, or you may see it as a plaited cable. I like the plaited cable. I think of as 5 actually twists. But anyways, again, you look at these symbols here, you look at the little note. This one here is hold in front, so that's the front cross, and this is the back cross. So you have one row that you're doing the front cross, and then the and this is 8 rows. But you have the second set that's a back cross, and they're over on the left here, and that's what's going to create this braid. So as I look at the front cross cable, I need those stitches to lean to the left, but I'm reversing it, so I need them to lean to the right. So what I do is select in my 2 needles. Well, if I need those front stitches to lean to the right, I need to take the left stitches. Sometimes I'll hang that other tool on the next hooks so that I could take and move those first cable stitches over. And then, again, now I like to bring my needles out to hold, especially those 4 needles and maybe 1 on each side. And as you can see, the needles are being pulled in together. It's stressing on the needles, but the needles are made to bend that way. But I found that if I bring them out to hold in position, they knit a lot better. So let me knit a few rows. And really, cables are up to you if you want them to go every 4 rows, which is kind of tight, every 5th row, 6th row, 8 rows, 10 rows. It's really up to you. Okay, so now the back stitch, and I'll do that over here. Now this one here I could do easier because being right-handed, I could take the right stitches and move them over first, and then take the second set and move those over. Now some cables are just going to be a matter of 2 stitches, so depending which way you need that front stitch to lean. So if I'm thinking, I'm looking at the knit side of this and I want that front stitch to lean to the right, I have to remember that it's the right stitch that goes over first, the left stitch that goes over second. Now this one here isn't as tight because it's only 2 needles, So you shouldn't have any problem with that, and you could probably do this a lot closer to each other than some of the other cables. Now, if you want to try the 3x3 cable, it's really going to be tough. So let's see. But what you can do is to make it look like it's a 3x3 cable. So you're going to take the 3 needles off that are going to be in front. Actually, oh yeah, I do want that in my right hand. And then I'm just going to take 1 stitch off of the left. Then I'm going to move those 3 over. Those are going to be in the front, and the 1 stitch over there. So basically it's a 3x1 cable, but it's going to look like a 3x3 cable. So let me take this off the machine and show you the different cables. Sorry, the color yarn's not really showing up as well, but I believe you could see the cables. These two stick out a little bit more, and it would be better if I reformed or had stitches out of work on the side of these cables for that to pop out. But this is the left cross cable. It leans to the left. That's the right cross cable. It leans to the right. Here's the single 1x1 cable. And here's a sort of a 3x1, 3x3, but it's actually 3x1 cable. This one isn't as prominent as I thought it would be, so I'm going to stick with the 2x2 cables.